Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you to the World Teachers Quiz Know It All. Before we move any further into the second edition of this fantastic initiative from the TeacherTribe.world, it is our pleasure and privilege to introduce to you our host, a passionate knowledge show host, writer, author, poet. She's the co-founder and senior editor of the TeacherTribe.world. She is also the only professional woman quiz host across Asia. With over 300 shows across 50 destinations of India and overseas, she enjoys a huge fan following now with students and teachers. From being a co-host of the Tata Crucible to several other corporate shows, the Teacher's Quiz is something that is very close to her and she's passionate about. She was rated by Business World as a 40 under 40 for content creators a year ago and was also conferred the iconic Woman Creating a Better World for All award by the Women Economic Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, here to grill you all, please welcome one and only Rashmi Furtado.
Hello ladies and gentlemen and my dear teachers. Welcome to the second edition of the World Teachers Quiz Know It All, brought to you by TeacherTribe.world in association with CLLE, TCS ION and ICSL. Most people actually think that teachers don't take part in contests, especially quizzes. But believe me, we have had an amazing participation from teachers for both editions of this quiz. And with your blessings, teachers, we hope to make this an annual event and have great participation from all of you each year. And I'm sure that all of you have been watching the quarter final and have already seen the first semi-final. Today, we are going to get into the second semi-final of this quiz. Let me quickly introduce our semi-finalists to you and then get into the rules of the game. First up, we have Hema Amble from National Public School, Bangalore. Following her, we have Rajni Murli from National Public School, Bangalore. Up next is Chitra Santosh from Geetanjali Devashray, Secunderabad. And completing the lineup for the day is Samrat Maitra from Sadanpur Uludanga Tulsiram High School, West Bengal. I was talking to them before we started this quiz and all of them seemed very happy about being here for the semi-final. So let's quickly get in the rules of the game and then get into the quiz itself. First of all the questions that I have for you here are on the buzzers. Plus 50, minus 50, your scoring pattern. Single attempt per question only. Multiple attempts will not be allowed. I will wait for about 5 to 7 seconds for one of you to press the buzzer, and if none of you do that, I will move on to the next question. Rest of the rules have been explained to you, so I won't waste any more time on the rules and move on to the first round of this quiz, Unlock the Mind. Here we go. Well, contests like quizzes are all about unlocking the mind and making connections where we usually don't see them at all. What I have for you are visuals. Along with the visuals, I have some corresponding questions. It's up to you if you want to wait for me to read out those questions or press the buzzer just by looking at the visuals. However, the moment you press the buzzer, I stop reading the question. Good luck to all of you. 6 questions is what I have in this round. So let's begin with question number 1. Question number 1 of the second semi-final on your screen now. This movie is inspired by the life of which? Chitra on the buzzer. Go ahead.
Nelson Mandela.
Plus 50 on that. She's absolutely right. She gets the first question of the quiz right. Nelson Mandela, the answer I was looking for. All right, let's move on to the second question here on your screen now. This is a cinematograph. It's an early motion picture camera. Who devised it? Cinematograph is the name of this invention. Early motion picture camera. We talk a lot about movies and music, but do we know the history behind it? All right, no one going on the buzzer there. The answer I was looking for, ladies and gentlemen, is the Lumiere brothers. The Lumiere brothers are the ones who devised this particular camera. Moving on, question number 3. Here we go. The sport of caber toss, which can be described as a large beam being tossed. Chitra on the buzzer again. Go ahead.
Scotland.
I didn't even tell her, or I didn't even ask the question. Actually, I was just describing what's on the screen and she says Scotland plus 50. She's absolutely right. I wanted to know where this particular caber toss, the game of caber toss, originated. Scotland or Scottish Highlands, I would have given you points for both. Plus 50 to you. Absolutely right. Moving on, question number 4 on your screens now. It was put for the first time on a Wrigley's Juicy Fruit chewing gum. Hema on the buzzer. Go ahead, ma'am.
The barcode.
The barcode. Ladies and gentlemen, we may think that teachers don't know a lot about business and business history, but here they are answering those very questions. Plus 50. Absolutely right. Barcode was used for the first time on a Wrigley's Juicy Fruit chewing gum packet. Right there on your screen, and Hema getting a plus 50 on that. Moving on, question number 5. Here we go. This is a cultural identity more than a trophy. Chitra, go ahead.
The Ashes.
The Ashes. Do you know how big the trophy is?
No, I don't.
You don't
I think it's
know.
pretty small.
You're absolutely right. Plus 50 on that. The trophy is actually very small. If I'm not wrong, it's not even bigger than our palm. It's very, very tiny trophy, but it's a matter of respect. And it's a huge thing in the world of sport, especially cricket. Plus 50 on that, doing very well for herself is Chitra. The last question of this round on your screen now. A chemist named Joseph Priestley wrote a paper titled Samrat. Go ahead.
The discovery of oxygen.
Oh, taking a negative on that is Samrat. Had you allowed me to complete the question, I think you would be able to answer it correctly. The question was, a chemist named Joseph Priestley wrote a paper titled Directions for Impregnating Water with Fixed Air. I'll repeat that. Directions for impregnating water with fixed air. What innovation is this that is used to this day by us? The answer was carbonated water or soda. I thought the description or the title of the paper would have given you a huge clue, but taking a negative on that, he's taking his chances. You have to do that at a quiz. Samrat takes a negative on that, but a long way to go. He can easily neutralize that negative and move into the positives. Let's move on to the second round of this quiz, setting the pace. Here we go. Before we move any further, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that only the winner from this semi-final will make it to the world final. So this semi-final is actually a very tough one. all the semi-finals are, because only one person from a semi-final can qualify to that world finale. Second round of the semi-final, setting the pace. The questions are the same. I have visuals for you and corresponding questions, and scoring pattern also remains the same. Question number 1 on your screens now. What is this type of swimwear called? Rajni, go ahead, ma'am.
Burkini.
Burkini, giving her a plus 50. She's absolutely right. Burkini is the answer I was looking for. Moving on, question number 2 on your screens now. Brownie Weiss is an innovator when it comes to marketing, and she came up with a unique style of selling a certain line of products. The unique style of selling was actually called the home demonstration system. What I want to know is the product that she was selling. Hema, go ahead, ma'am.
Tupperware.
Tupperware, plus 50. Absolutely right. I'm guessing the home demonstration system was a huge clue there, and she got Tupperware absolutely right. Plus 50 on that. Moving on. Question number 3. Here we go. Whirlaway or Pluto Platter were its original names. Hema, go ahead.
Frisbee.
Whoa, this actually looks like a platter, and the names that I said was Whirlaway and Pluto Platter, but she's absolutely right. Plus 50 on that. This was actually an earlier version of a Frisbee, and Whirlaway and Pluto Platter were the historic names, or rather the older names of Frisbee. Absolutely right, getting a plus 50 on that. Well, I can't stop myself from giving you the scores, so let me quickly tell you where they stand. We have Hema and Chitra both tied up at 150 points as of now. Both of them are doing very well for themselves, giving some quality answers here. Rajni is on plus 50. Samrat took a negative, but he has a lot of time to move into the positives. So let's see what happens. The next question, question number 4 of this round on your screen now. Identify this. Samrat, go ahead.
Beethoven.
Beethoven gives him a plus 50. He's absolutely right. The German composer and pianist known for the classical music that he composed. Plus 50 on that, Samrat, and he quickly neutralizes that negative that he had taken earlier. Moving on, question number 5. Here we go. This is painted by Andy. Samrat, go ahead.
The picture is that of Marilyn Monroe.
You think that was my question?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I think you are very good at this. Plus 50 on that. Marilyn Monroe is the answer I was looking for. The painter is Andy Warhol, and my question was, whom did he paint? Marilyn Monroe, absolutely right. Plus 50. The last question of this round on your screen now. It's a classic Japanese dance drama. What is it called? Classical Japanese dance drama. Hema, go ahead, ma'am.
Is it Kabuki?
Kabuki, giving her a plus 50. She's absolutely right. Kabuki is the answer I was looking for. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with 2 rounds of this quiz. Let me quickly tell you where all of our contestants stand and then move on to the 3rd round. We actually have Hema in the lead now with 200 points. Chitra close there. She's on 150. I think this is going to be a tough semi-final. Somehow have a feeling I'll get into a tiebreaker situation. Let's see what happens. 3rd round. Here we go. As the round suggests, this is all about saluting the educators. The questions will revolve around educators or education. There's a slight difference between the earlier rounds and this though. You have visuals on your screen and questions that I have, but along with that, there are blocks that will appear on along with the visual that will indicate the number of letters in the answer. So that will also serve as a clue for all of you. Scoring pattern is the same. Question number 1 on your screen now. Identify this educator. Chitra, go ahead, ma'am.
Anne Sullivan.
Anne Sullivan, absolutely right. Plus 50 on that. She's actually the person who taught the world value of educating the differently abled. She did very well in that particular field. Moving on, question number 2 on your screen now. Which great university is this? A global name. Samrat, go ahead.
Trinity College, Cambridge.
Trinity College, Cambridge is what he said. Unfortunately, he takes a negative on that. The answer I was looking for is Harvard. Harvard Business School is the answer, is what I was looking for. Moving on, question number 3. Here we go. Identify a person. Chitra, go ahead.
This is Maslow's theory, right?
You need to give me an answer. You're saying Maslow?
Yes.
Taking a negative on that. I know the confusion. You saw the pyramid and you thought it is Abraham Maslow and the need hierarchy theory, but this is actually Bloom's taxonomy from Benjamin Bloom. If you look at the words on the right side of the pyramid, all those are the words from Bloom's taxonomy. Well, Benjamin Bloom is a well-known name in the field of education. I just thought I'll make this particular question a little bit tricky for all our quizzes out here. Moving on, the last question of this round on your screen now. Identify the author. Hema, go ahead.
Goldwyn, is it?
That's your final answer?
Sorry. Yes.
Alright, taking a negative on that at a crucial point actually, because Chitra had just taken a negative in the previous question and gone to 150. Hema could have very well just stayed quiet and stayed in the lead, but she took a negative. Quizzes are all about taking your risks or having a good strategy with your risks. The answer I was looking for is Daniel Goleman. Daniel Goleman is the person who came up with the emotional, he's written a lot about emotional intelligence and many books on emotional intelligence. Alright, scores as of now. We have Hema and Chitra both still on tie with 150 points. Rajni on 50 points. Samrat ended up taking a negative and he's back on nil. We have one more round remaining. Let's see what happens. The last round of this quiz. The last lap. Here we go. Well, teachers, in this round, nothing appears on your screen. You will have to listen to what I have to say. The rules are the same. If you press the buzzer while I'm still reading out the question, I will stop reading the question as you are indicating to me that you already know the answer. Good luck to all of you. All right, question number 1, here we go. TOW was an Olympic sport until 1920. Many schools in India feature... Rajni, go ahead.
Tug of war.
Tug of war. I didn't even complete the question. Plus 50. Absolutely right. Tug of war is the answer I was looking for. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I think what I guessed earlier is going to be true. Looks like I'm getting into a tiebreaker situation. 3 more questions remaining. Let's see what happens. Question number 2. We all use the term gigabyte or GB. What is gigabyte? 10 to the power how much? Chitra, go ahead.
10 to the power of 9.
10 to the power of 9 plus 50. Absolutely right. 10 to the power of 9 is what a gigabyte is. She gets a plus 50 on that and she's now in the lead. 2 more questions remaining. penultimate question of this quiz. Here we go. From the culture of bombs, little boy was made with U-235 isotope, while on the other hand, for making fat man, some other element was used instead of uranium. What am I talking about? Rajni, go ahead.
Plutonium.
Plus 50 on that. Absolutely right. Rajni is also now on 150 points. Let me actually tell you where all of them stand. Chitra is still leading with 200. Rajni and Hema are both on 150. Last question of this quiz. If either Rajni and Hema end up getting a plus 50, they would challenge Chitra for the position or for the slot in the world final. If not, Chitra has actually made it through. Unless she herself takes the chance at the last question and goes for it. She's saying no, she won't do that. All right, the last question of this quiz. Here we go. NASA's Voyager 1 spacecraft took an iconic photograph called the pale blue dot. What did it photograph? Rajni, go ahead.
The Earth.
The Earth is the pale blue dot. Plus 50 to you. Absolutely right. She is now on 200 points, and like I predicted earlier, we are in a tiebreaker situation. Chitra and Rajni are both on 200 points each. Tiebreaker, let's begin with it. Teachers, the rules of the game are the same. Only Chitra and Rajni would be playing on these tiebreakers. I will ask one question after the other. If one of you get it right, you move on to the world final. If you get it wrong, the other person moves into the world final. Good luck to the both of you. Tiebreaker question number 1. Here we go. X has a cousin named George who's scared of Y, and a lover named Toodles. He parties with friends called Butch and pals. Y has a guitar-playing uncle named Picos, an apprentice or ward named Tuffy or Nibbles, and a strong cousin named Muscles. Whom am I talking about? It's not very difficult. Think entertainment and think children. All right, none of you going on that. I'm sorry, Rajni, I just said none of you going on that, so your time is up. You can answer, but no points.
The Little Rascals.
You would have taken a negative had you answered. The answer I was looking for is actually Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry are the characters that I was describing in that question. Let's find another question for you. All right. The second tiebreaker question. Unfinished is a book authored by which globally named actress? Rajni, go ahead.
Priyanka Chopra.
Priyanka Chopra plus 50 on that. And with that tiebreaker question, she got it right and she makes it to the world final. Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember towards the beginning of the quiz, Rajni was actually not scoring. In the first round, she was on nil, and from that, she has moved on to winning this semi-final and securing that slot in the world final. Congratulations, Rajni, you have made it to the world final. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. The third semi-final is coming up. Believe me, all these semi-finals so far have been a nail-biter. I would strongly urge you all to come back and watch the remaining semi-final. And let me tell you, I'm going to be super prepared with questions for the world final because there are some really good quizzers coming up in the world final. I will see you at the third semi-final. Thank you for being here.